Joining me now is Leila Nasr. She is from the National Council of Canadian Muslims. Leila, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Leila, I want you to take us back 1 year ago tonight. Where were you when you heard about the attack, the deadly attack on the mosque in Quebec City?
I was overseas at the time, and as the news started to filter through the media, I felt shocked. I felt shocked that something like this could happen on Canadian soil, and I think that sentiment was shared by Muslim communities across the country too. And not just that it could happen on Canadian soil, but also that something like this could happen in a place of worship. And for many Muslims across the country, mosques are sacred places, and they are places where people come together to find peace. And to think that something like this could happen in some of their most intimate moments and most personal moments, that was really scary. And I think a lot of people like myself felt overwhelmed by that.
You were away, as you mentioned, you were abroad at the time of the attack, and then you returned. In the months after the attack, how do you think Canadian Muslims responded to what took place? What was going on in their minds? How were they feeling?
I think that the grieving process and the healing process I think it still extends to today. And in the immediate aftermath, we saw this amazing outpouring of love and support from Canadian Muslim communities and non-Muslim communities.
Did that surprise you?
No, not at all. I think that's incredibly characteristic of the Canada that we've strived to create and to protect. And that's why so many people are attracted to this incredible country. I think, obviously in the aftermath we did experience some anti-Muslim hate, and obviously that's a continuing and serious issue in this country that needs to be addressed. But that is the minority. It's a discussion that we need to have as a country and within our local communities, but by and large the response was very positive, and it was hugely heartening.
It's 1 year on. How do you make sense of what happened on that January evening in Quebec City? Why do you think it took place?
Well, we have seen an alarming documented increase in Islamophobia in this country. We know from Stats Canada that between 2012 and 2015, there was a 253% increase in police-reported hate crimes in this country. And that's just the crimes that are reported to police. We also know from Stats Canada that as many as 2/3 of hate crimes go unreported for various reasons. So, let's not forget that this event didn't happen within a complete vacuum. There was a backdrop, and a really serious one, and that's the one that we need to start having a conversation about.
So collectively, as Canadians, are we doing enough? Are we doing the right things to extirpate Islamophobia and racism from this country? Are we doing enough?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I think particularly at the local level, what we have seen is a huge groundswell of support. We've seen local governments pass incredible proclamations in the last few days, marking this day as a national day against Islamophobia. And that community level grassroots support has shown us the real heart of Canadians, and that, ordinary people really do want to do something about this issue, and the role of the NCCM and our partners here today, along with many other allies, is to facilitate spaces where those discussions can take place.
And beyond discussions, are there any other concrete things that you think could be happening, maybe even in our educational system?
Sure. There's certainly a lot of work to be done, and I think, beyond just discussions and remembrance like today, I think it's amazing that people have come out and taken this step to even just be at a vigil tonight. That is a step in itself, and that is showing solidarity. We'd also encourage people to really call out Islamophobic incidents where they happen. If we're going to start to understand the extent of this problem, we have to be really clear about reporting them and about standing up to them when they occur, and anybody can do that, not just organizations like us.
We know it's not just adults that pay attention to these events. Young people, children also are affected. What do you say to a young person about an event like what happened on January 29th, 2017?
Yeah, that's, again, a great question. I think it's important to remind them and to reiterate that this is not normal. This is not the Canada that we hope they'll grow up in. And I think as educators, as parents, as leaders in our community, as spokespeople, it's really important to have those discussions with them early and to expose them to diverse spaces.
So for the people who are attending tonight, what do you want them to take from tonight's memorial, tonight's event?
I think we want them to take away that that they're not alone. That and it sounds cliche, but they're not alone in their solidarity, and that there are other people who want to partner with them, who want to stand with them to remember these events and to work together to do something about the issue of Islamophobia in this country.
Leila Nasr, it's very good of you to join us. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Thank you. And Omar, that was Leila Nasr. She is a representative of the National Council of Canadian Muslims.